Hey guys, so today I want to make a confession. Actually, I'm being dramatic. It's not really a confession. However, I have recently come to the realisation that I think I am high maintenance. And why is that a big deal, you ask? Because it's shattering the illusion that I had of myself. And you're probably thinking, why is this a podcast? Like, why are you talking to me about this? This is silly. But no, it's not silly, and I will explain why. So, for pretty much my whole life, I, didn't think I was high maintenance. I thought I was pretty, go with the flow, chill, whatever. I am not. Aside from the fact that I have, raging ADHD and need a plan for literally everything. Otherwise, I, go into, genuine executive dysfunction and complete meltdown. I'm just not a cool girl. I'm not a cool girl. I'm not a mysterious cool girl. I can't do the chill thing. I'm not chill. And I feel so much of, specifically I want to say 2013 to 2018 media consumption was about being the cool girl, being the chill girl that doesn't try too hard and that just goes with the flow and just has 3 wardrobe outfits and really long brown hair and just puts it up in a ponytail and just throws on her Converse and just runs out the door. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, did anyone else grow up on Wattpad? Because I did. But even in wider media, all the movies, all of the TV shows, the main character was always this kind of understated, chill girl that got all the boys and was always chilling and I don't know. So I feel I, in my head, was that's exactly what I need to be to get everyone to like me. And even though that's not who I was, that's who I thought I was, which obviously creates a disconnect and isn't authentic in the slightest. And anyway, I went to Brazil a few months ago. Why is that relevant, you ask? Well, because I love to pack heavy when I go on holiday. I just really enjoy it. And I also just like having options. It's so funny because my therapist the other day, she told me, I sound so valley girl when I say that, my therapist, why does it sound valley girl to say I'm in therapy? Anyway, she was basically I can't remember how the conversation came about, but I was I feel people not take the piss out of me, but think I'm high maintenance, and it really makes me makes me uncomfortable, and it makes me feel silly or judged. And she was why do you feel like that? And I was because I really like aesthetics and fashion and makeup and things like that. And she was why do you feel that makes you feel judged? And I was because I just feel people think that I'm being high maintenance and whatever. And I was telling her about when I went on holiday, and the girl I went on holiday with was very much she just kind of chucked something on. And I remember quite a few times she would I'd put an outfit together, because that's for me fun, putting an outfit together. And she'd literally be rolling her eyes and scoffing at me and being oh, you're so high maintenance, oh, you're so I don't know, just kind of shitting on me for making an effort. And I told that to my therapist, and she was so she was judging you for putting effort in on holiday. She was when else are you going to put effort in? What other time is there to put effort into your outfits other than your free time and your holidays? I don't understand why that And I was like, I don't know, I just like feel uncomfortable. And like there was quite a few times like I'd put on an outfit and she'd just be like, you're trying so hard, or like, you look crazy, or like, yeah, she was so kind. No. But since I came home from that trip, I've been thinking like, maybe I am a little more high maintenance than I thought. And I know I sound like I'm deeping this really simple thing, but like, I don't know, to me it's kind of been like a revolutionary thing for like my self-image. So I kind of started to like lean into it a little more because I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to see where this takes me. So I started like putting a little more time into like self-care and like looking after myself and like not criticizing myself for wanting options or taking longer to get ready and giving myself longer to get ready. And I found, it sounds silly, but like I found I get less stressed. I'm not cutting myself short. It was like I was trying to fit into this mold of like the chill girl. And it doesn't work because that's not who I am. Like, it doesn't, and that's not gonna, it sounds so stupid, but like, even incrementally, if you give yourself this image and this idea and you build things around this image, like the infrastructure around the image of how long it takes to get ready, what your shower routine is, like the types of people you associate with, they're all factored into your image and how you present. And when I started to step into like my genuine, like I was having this conversation with my friends earlier and I was talking about like, we all have like a brand image. And when you actually step into like your authentic brand image, you find a lot of things don't like resonate with you anymore. And obviously this is a really big thing like within spirituality of like being authentic means that you have to lose the parts of yourself that aren't authentic. And a lot of times that comes with like friends, even family members, jobs, certain lifestyle choices, kind of just like don't click anymore. And I was saying to one of my friends earlier, because I recently like decided to remove some, I say recently, it's actually kind of a long time ago, but decided to remove some people from my life that were really not like benefiting me in literally any way at all. And alongside sort of stepping into like a more aligned version of myself externally, because I think, I don't know about anyone else that's like on the spiritual path, but like I did a lot of internal work first. But they say that, don't they? So, the backwards law, like, I don't know, it comes inside before it goes outside. Like everything outside of you is a projection of the inside. So if you change the inside, the outside's gonna have to change eventually. And I found that the more I've stepped into this, like almost like glamorous life for myself, like, and by glamorous, I don't mean going to balls and stuff like that. I just mean taking the time to oil my hair and cutting off my split ends and painting my nails and just things that make me feel good and make me feel like, using my water flosser, like it sounds silly, but it makes me happy. And I noticed that the more of these things I started to do, the more these people, they would just mock me for it. And like, they would actually just shit on me and be so mean because like, I was like looking hot and like, how rude. Like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever like looked at someone else like putting an effort and been like, you're so dumb, dumbass. Like, what is that behavior? Like, that's so strange. And back to my previous point, I was speaking to one of my friends this morning and I was saying like, it's crazy to me how she basically brought up how like she saw one of their stories and like she was like, it's just that era is crazy to me that you were ever like part of that. And I was like, looking at like that group of people now, our brand image just does not align whatsoever. Like, we are not, and obviously you don't have to have like the same brand image to be like friends with someone, but you do have to have some kind of like alignment or some kind of connection. And it's funny because for like a really long time, like what felt like our connection was the fact that we all smoked weed. And anyone else who either has smoked weed or smokes weed and stops, or even just does smoke weed, will know that a lot of friendships are forged through like smoking together. And it's so funny because I think like when I stop smoking and when I start smoking, I spend time with different people. Like, and I know that sounds obvious, but it kind of just reaffirms that like your reality is dictated by like, you know, what you choose to do. Because if I had never chosen to like embrace this, you know, more authentic side of myself, I'd probably still be putting up with their shit and, you know, dealing with their bad behavior. And it's funny because like I know a lot of people will have probably experienced this, but it's that whole thing of like, you know, when you start to outgrow things or when you start to outgrow people, they just hate on you. And they hate on you, and then they hate on you more, and then they hate on you more. Like, I've had it a few times, and I've spoken to, you know, a lot of my other friends have had it before, where they're like, I'm just not getting on with this group of people, or they're like, you know, they've been my friends for so long, but they're just like not being very nice to me, or like judging my choices, even though I feel like my choices are right for me, or like, you know, if I feel like I'm honoring myself, they dislike that. And like, I think a lot of times when you grow, I was speaking to one of my friends the other day because she's going through like kind of a similar situation. And I basically said to her that when you grow, because basically the person said to her, well, you were doing the exact same things and I never said anything about it. So like, why is it fair that now you can say something to me about it? And I said to her that now that you are in a better place, their bad behavior becomes way more obvious and they can't hide behind your bad behavior. Because let's be honest, we all behave badly at times. All of us, like we all do. It's just, you know, if two thieves hang out together, they're not going to see any wrong in what they're doing. But if you put a thief next to a Samaritan, they're going to feel bad about what they're doing and then blame the Samaritan and be like, you're making me feel bad, you're making me feel bad. Do you get like this analogy where I'm coming from, that like the better you get, the more it highlights, you know, the lack for these people and the more that they are projecting their own hatred onto you. And you know, when people's bad behavior becomes more and more apparent, it's almost like sometimes I feel like the universe or God or spirit or like whatever you believe in is pushing you apart. Like, I find this sometimes that when I start to step into a different like path for myself, certain things that were so prevalent just like literally fall off the face of the earth. So like an example of that is like these friends that I used to bump into them all the time. We live in the same area. Like, and when I say area, I mean like village. Like this is like, you know, there's only so many people. Like you bump into these people all the time. Don't bump into them at all anymore. And it's just because we're not aligned. Like we're not aligned on the same like frequency, you know. And so we just don't cross paths. But I'll give you an example of it working like the opposite way. Lewis has just moved to London and he was sat on a park bench and got chatting to this guy, and now they're like really good friends and going to live together. And it's just kind of like string theory, like, you know, you just meet people when you're meant to meet them and you lose them when you're meant to lose them. And I feel like when you refuse to give people up sometimes is when their bad behaviour gets worse, because one, that's you showing them that you'll put up with it. And two, it's almost like they spirit, or the, I don't like saying the universe because I feel like people think that's silly, but they think, okay, well, we need to do more to get you to realize that like this isn't for you anymore. Like, you need to let this part of your life go. Like, and if you're not honoring that part of like your intuition, honestly, it's like an intuitive thing. Sometimes it will just happen for you. Like, I mean, I've definitely had situations where there is no way that I would have honoured my intuition, even though I knew it wasn't right. I was far too comfortable in the position I was in. And even though, you know, I was like doing these things for like my personal growth, I was like, no, I can still have both. I can still have both. You literally can't have both. Like, you cannot have your cake and eat it with spirituality. Like, it just doesn't work that way. And I think that's like one of the harsher realities, is that like when you grow and you like move towards who you're meant to be, you do have to go through the loss. And it's funny because like spirituality is literally just like a cycle of like gain and lose over and over again. And you're probably thinking, well, why the fuck do you want to do that then? Like, that sounds horrible. But then I think of where I was when I started out in my spiritual journey, and I think, would I want to be there? And I think, no, grim. That's gross. No, I wouldn't. Like, I'm glad for the things I've done. But that does come with loss, you know? And it's like, hopefully by the time I'm like 30, I'll be really comfortable with loss, and like, it will be like an easy process for me. But I feel like, I don't know, because my main demographic is like old men for some reason. So to any of the old men listening to this, please let me know in the comments if you are comfortable dealing with loss. But I just think it's really, really interesting how, you know, you start, I love how like I started out talking like, I'm so high maintenance, but do you understand where I'm coming from? Because I feel like me being high maintenance was always viewed as such a negative trait and a negative thing. And the more I've realised that it's not a negative thing, it's actually, you know, that I have boundaries and high standards, and I want the best for myself, and I won't settle, and I won't stick up for the wrong people, and I assert my values when they're needed. You know, like, these are all really positive traits. But I find that quite often something that is inherently positive has a negative attribution tied to it, especially for women. You know, being high maintenance is viewed as a bad thing. But all of a sudden everyone wants to be a high value woman, you know. It's like, what's this about? Like, you can't be outspoken, otherwise you're bossy. You know, I'm not about to like repeat Taylor Swift's little statement, but it's funny because I was thinking about this at work today while I was stacking the chairs. I was thinking about how, you know, when people are like, oh, she loves herself so much. And I was thinking, like, if someone said to me, oh, you just love yourself so much. It's like, yeah, I do. Do you not love yourself that much? And it's like, you cannot love yourself too much. There's a difference between loving yourself and having an ego and being arrogant. And don't get me wrong, it is a very fine line. Like, it is a fine line. However, I think loving yourself is so important, and it's so funny that we use that as an insult when that should be one of the highest forms of compliment there is. Like, but these, you know, these old people that I used to associate with would have definitely used that as an insult. And it just, you know, it just shows that they're not the sort of people that, you know, not you, I don't know who you are listening, but why would you want to be aligned with someone that tells you these things about yourself, or tells you that you look crazy when you've put an outfit together, or if you're trying to, you know, do like something editorial and they're like, what the fuck is that? Like, if they don't get your vision, they should leave. Low key. Like, not to be rude, and I don't want to sound arrogant, but if people don't understand your vision or understand what you're trying to do with your art, that's fine. Like, let them, but let them do it from far away. Don't let them do it from the comfort of your own bedroom. Like, do not let these people in. Like, they can see it, they can watch it, they can follow you, they can comment on it in their own time, but don't let them into your own space, because it literally does just make you think you're doing something wrong. The amount of friends that I've had that have said, like, they've been going through like friendship problems or relationship problems or family problems, and they've been like, oh my god, like, I feel like I'm going crazy, like, and then they'll explain the behavior that this person's doing, and I'm like, are you actually, like, for real? Like, this is so obviously bad behavior. Like, you are so obviously being like manipulated or gaslit or whatever. And they're like, oh my god, I just, like, no one's validated me. Like, everyone's just thinks this is like okay. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's probably okay for them, but that doesn't mean that you have to put up with it. Like, let them do that to someone else. Go let them do that. Like, you know, it's crazy to me. But anyway, my brain's turned off now, and I hope that was okay. It was a bit of a ramble, so I do apologise, but I hope you got the main point. Basically, be high maintenance all the time if you want to, if that's what's aligning with your higher self. Thank you guys. Love you guys so much. Also, I don't think I'm going to be able to podcast much at the minute because I'm finishing uni soon, and it's really intense. So I will post where I can. Literally no one cares. Like, I don't know why I'm like talking like I'm an influencer, but if anyone actually does care, that would make me feel really valued. But I'll speak to you guys soon. Goodbye.